Welcome to the Georgia Avenue Podcast. I'm Trevor.
I'm Vic.
And I am Eli.
Sweet. This has been I think since we started this whole podcast thing, I've been having my eye on Eli. I've been like, damn, she'd be a fucking nice one to get on because she's probably knowing a lot of shit about what's going on around DeLand.
Why is that? Why was that?
I don't know. I always see Eli doing her thing. I mean, like with the Beacon and, doing what she do.
Yeah, I mean, I do happen to be a reporter at the local newspaper, so the knowing on what might be happening around town is kind of it's kind of my business.
Yeah. So,
How long have you been there?
8 years.
Wow. Is this your first job for paper too, or
Yes.
did you come from somewhere like? I'm sorry. Are you from DeLand?
Yeah, I was born in Nashville. I grew up in DeLand. Both my parents are teachers at Stetson University. I got the job at the paper. I actually worked in the taco truck outside of Cafe Da Vinci, and I talked to Barb a lot.
damn, when was this?
8 years ago.
Wow.
Shit.
I worked there for like 2 years, and I talked to Barb a lot. Or she came around and get her hipster tacos. That's what they were called.
Yeah,
and
I remember. I like those ones.
And then just one day out of the blue, I hadn't been working there, and she had an opening. We had talked previously, so she knew I had writing experience, and just a random job.
Sweet. When did you start writing?
Writing, like for the paper, or writing in general?
Was it always something you did as a kid and coming up through school and stuff? Did you go to college for it, or?
No. I went to all the schools here, and I failed high school on purpose. I was in my 3rd and 9th grade when I dropped out, so I didn't do a lot of writing other than what you have to do in 5th grade and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until college, which I got into at 17, which is easy enough to do, by the way, if you don't like high school. You just have to get your GED and get test scores, and you can start taking college classes. So it wasn't until college you did any kind of writing at all. And in general, that would be argumentative essays, even if it's about a book or something like that. All of those things kind of gave me a skill set that actually applies to being a reporter, weirdly enough.
Sweet. So, as far as high school goes, I mean, you just felt like it was a waste of time, or?
I felt like it was a waste of time, 100%. And I also, there were some things I just couldn't do, like math. Like, just a brick wall on math, right? But my test scores were high enough on everything. They just kept me around. I mean, I was in my 3rd, 9th grade. Yeah. So it was 9RR, 9 repeating, 9R squared, right? Except, is it squared? I don't know math. Something like that. Cubed? No. So, yeah. So I just refused to do it. I read books in the back of class. They would pass out assignments and then pass out like one less for me. And I went to school, so I never had lots of interventions or anything. They were just like, you failed. And then you'd go to English 1, English 2, and then the next year I'd start off in English 3. And generally about halfway through the year, somebody would realize I hadn't passed any of the other stuff and get bumped back down to English 1. And it just take it over again, right? And it's the same books.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you read a lot of books in the back of class instead of doing the assignments. And then in college, you started taking the writing classes, I guess. So was it always going to be journalism?
Nope. Nope. Nothing to do with it. The first time I went, I just took English classes because I thought they were interesting. Actually, my family, like I said, my parents taught at Stetson. My brother and my sister and their families, they lived in New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina. And so they evacuated DeLand from Hurricane Katrina. My brother's 10 years older than me. My sister's like 15 years older than me. These are children of the previous marriage, which actually is a funny story because his name is really terrible. His Richard Pussateri. Hold on.
Yeah, we'll get back to that.
But he went by Dick.
Of course.
Yeah. So my brother and my sister. My sister had dropped out of high school and left DeLand. My brother worked at Side One, which is now Steve's Records.
Yeah.
So he worked at Side One for a long time. He went to Stetson. He did the traditional kind of thing, and he was starting as a teacher at Tulane, while my sister was starting as a freshman at University of New Orleans when Katrina hit. And they evacuated to here. And then my brother was teaching at Stetson, and my parents were teaching at Stetson. And then my sister started as a freshman, and I was a sophomore. And I was 18, and she was 33, and my brother was 30. And I just remember just walking Flagler Hall, which is where the English department was, and like, I need to get out of here. Because family this is too much. So I left, but I eventually came back because you can get free tuition as a child of staff, and that includes any staff there until you're 25. And I went for environmental science, and I have a bachelor's degree in environmental science.
Sweet.
Awesome.
So, you say you remember the first time we met?
No,
You say you did.
What's it to you?
I just want to know if you remember.
I find your tone aggressive.
I'm a bit aggressive. I'm sorry.
But you know what? As a reporter,
because
as a
reporter, you should know this.
As a reporter, one thing I hate is asking a question I already know the answer to, which is what you're doing right now.
Oh, shit.
So why don't you go ahead and tell me?
No.
I thought the first time we met was going to be today, but
No.
I just learned that you used to work at Neighbors.
Oh yeah,
And so you must have sold me tacos at one point, or nachos.
100%.
Yeah.
But you don't remember.
I mean, a lot of people went through there,
Yeah, but you don't
and it
remember.
was always real busy.
You don't remember going, hey, Eli, give me a taco. Let me get a hipster.
Yeah, I did used to eat those hipster tacos.
First time we met, she was a reporter. There was a fire.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No. Oh yeah. Over at the okay. Yes.
And that was how many years ago?
That was right when I started. So that was like 8 years ago.
2018, 2019.
Yeah, that was was the name of the house.
A historic venue. They used to have weddings there.
Yeah, it was the historic.
Yep.
I think the Boy Scouts were there for a bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name. It had a specific name to it.
The Duval home?
No,
that's something else.
not the
bad.
Duval home. It's not going to come to me right away, and it's going to drive me a little nuts. But it was a long
Jack,
time.
look that up.
Yeah.
No, it'll come to you in a minute.
So that was and you were working for that guy, he was trying to turn it into the kind of sports bar.
I was a partner.
You were partners with him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. And that fire happened that night, and there was a night watchman who was there,
Yep.
actually.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So you're right. I did not remember that's where I met
See?
you, but
I knew it.
Wow.
See that?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that was wow.
That was a long time ago, man.
Yeah, there was that
And the guy actually had to crawl out of the window. It was like it was a 2-story on one side, apartments above.
Yeah.
We had some other shit going on. The kitchen and all that shit was downstairs. Mm-hmm. There was a couple of rooms or something up the top. He was up there asleep.
Mm-hmm. When the fire happened.
When the fire happened, that motherfucker had to break through a window, crawl across the roof, and get to the other building. He was a lucky motherfucker.
Wow.
He seriously was. And the fire was it takes months to find this out with the fire when they inspect a fire, but they're almost certain that it was a lightning strike.
Oh.
Because there was a lot of work happening to the building at the time, and it's on the main drag of 44, so people were really looking at it. So there was some question about whether it was the electrical work or whatever.
It was really
something
old building
this.
for sure.
But I think the neighbors even saw the lightning strike, and then
I don't remember. I just lost a lot of money.
yeah, I bet. I mean, it was a historic place that was getting renovated up to be a new happening spot. It also was his wife involved with the Boy Scouts, so that there were going to be like scout activities. Well, see, okay, this is very funny. You don't remember where we first met, but then I'm like, here's all the details
Well,
of that.
I blacked a lot of shit out because I lost so much fucking money, man. I was like, fuck this. I'm out of here.
Oh, wow. Deep town lore there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, talk about history.
There's no get back.
Yeah.
It's all lost.
Yeah, it was originally law offices, that building was. It eventually got bought up and then became a venue and had this kind of like really elaborate stairway, I think. And yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. I don't remember the history of the building. I just know that I thought it would have been a nice, cool place to hang out. Eat some wings, shoot some pool, drink some beer.
Might have been, as far as being off the main drag.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of stuff up that way.
So we met on one of the worst days of your life.
Yeah.
Well.
Yep.
Well.
That occasionally happens,
Yeah.
especially as a
I guess it could
reporter.
have been.
So every time I think about it, I think about you.
Ah. Oh no! Oh, the silver lining of the fire that took your savings or whatever.
That shit's in the past.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Anyway,
All right, so it wasn't always about not to keep beating around back at the college bush, but it wasn't always about the whole becoming a journalist thing. Did I understand that right? It was.
Yeah, I think you're interested in this because you're a writer. Or whatever.
I want to hear a little bit more about the writing stuff before we moved on from
I
that.
fell into this. Like I said, I'm a good writer, but I've never been a writer who's particularly like about diary, blog, or fiction. None of that has ever. What I really, really was great at in college was in argumentative essays, and a lot of that is research, and things that apply to reporting here. Like
Who were some of the big names that you would read that would not even necessarily aspire to, but that were really good at doing that?
Didn't. No idea. Yeah.
No, would Hitchens, Christopher Hitchens, be under that
Nope.
umbrella? No, not at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I was trying to think of argumentative writers.
Yeah, I mean, none of this was.
Dawkins seems like an argumentative writer sometimes.
No, it's just something I was good at. And then I was good at it in a really specific sense. And then I graduated in 2011, and the unemployment rate in Volusia County was 14.7%.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I wanted to go into the public sector when it comes to environmental science, which is a foolish idea. I mean, you're not going to make money from it. Florida, which should be a place that has a lot of money into public sector jobs, Florida Fish and Wildlife, the beaches and the sea turtles and the conservation and the invasive species. It doesn't have a lot of jobs, especially when you're starting off. It's like all the FWC grant jobs. They're only year by year. So a lot of people in environmental science went to like the private sector kind of things and become arborists or work at the sewage wastewater plants. And anyway, I worked at a falafel place in Philadelphia then for a while.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, worked at a falafel place in Philly, came back, I worked in Jacksonville for the Dock Master and at Huguenot Memorial, which was one of the biggest nesting sites for nesting birds, like baby birds, seagulls, terns, American oyster catchers, and sea turtles. And then I came back and I worked at Taco Truck. And then I randomly ran into Barb. And then my very first, I think, even attempt at writing a story, I think I quoted Jane Eyre. Like, I didn't know how to write an article. I interviewed everybody. I got the quotes. I got the information. But I also made it kind of an argument in an essay. So halfway through, I go, it was about health businesses moving into downtown, like Bodhi and Soul and Pilates and other stuff. And like halfway through, I did the trick in Jane Eyre, which is, dear reader, I believe them. And like turned it into this is my assessment of who I just interviewed. And yeah, they were like, they just cut all of that and kept all the quotes and all the other information and stuff like that. But it didn't take very long for me to pick up. It's just a style thing about writing,
You like it? It's
what I like the most about it is less the writing aspect. At one point, Barb said to me, and I don't think this is necessarily true, but she said the writing doesn't matter. Like, it's the information. It's collecting the information. Like, that's the most important part. The writing, of course, really matters. But it is sort of secondary to finding the information and interviewing the people and doing the legwork, But yeah, I like it. It's you get to make a difference in the place that you grew up. You can make a difference in people's lives. You can tell you're like a megaphone for the community. You're telling their stories. And so
I remember as a kid, obviously being from here, reading the news journal a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember when, because at some point I did stop reading the paper every day. But I don't know when it became the slop maybe that it is now.
It got bought by Gannett Media. So it originally got bought by like a hedge fund, I think, that then sold it to Gannett Media. Gannett Media is the largest media producer.
It just got so small.
Well, that's what happens. They gut the newsroom and they make it part of the USA Today network so that they outsource a lot of the jobs. I mean, this is really not against any of the... There are and there were really good reporters there, but
They had that building by the Jackie Robinson ballpark in Daytona, right? That was their main headquarters. for the
yeah,
News Journal.
yeah, I don't think that they have much a physical presence there anymore because of the rent. They lost their physical presence in downtown DeLand like 6 years ago. So, and there was a classic. I mean, they are our competitors, but there was they wrote a story, and in the paper it says the DeLand mayor investigated for like taxes is the headline, and the very first line is about the Deltona mayor being investigated for taxes, and it's because when you're bought by a conglomerate, what it does is they send off the pages to be made by like it's a page design farm, and the USA Today network is all of these local newspapers. So these people are doing local newspapers from all over. So it's not, I mean, we make mistakes at the Beacon, right? But we apologize for them, and it's because it's our mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because somebody in another state is laying out your local news. So that's
mixing up two things, like you were saying with the
DeLand, Deltona. It doesn't mean anything to somebody in Texas laying it out. It means a heck of a lot to the DeLand mayor, or the city of DeLand that has to do it. So it's that local news touch. Of course, I'm sure you all have subscriptions at the Beacon, but yeah, of course I'm going to toot that little horn a little bit. It's a local independent newspaper, also owned by a woman, and it's the only one in Volusia. It's the only independent newspaper in Volusia. Actually, awesome. It's not just Volusia. It's like 5 counties.
So how does your day start? Being a reporter, I mean, and is it just DeLand or is it surrounding or?
It's West Volusia, so that's 13 different cities. Okay. So from Pearson to DeBerry.
And you travel to those places to get news, or?
Yeah, there's often that. But, I mean, right now I'm the editor. So editor, reporter. I do a lot more administrative kind of things where I answered emails for 3 hours the other day and was like, this is work. Like, I didn't, like, it's not, there's some administrative aspects of it where I'm just coordinating other people. I'm coordinating coverage and things like that. But I had a diary for a little bit. And I looked, and there was no such thing as a typical day,
How many reporters we got down there?
I have right now with me, I have 3, and I have 3 freelancers. And I teach at Stetson now, weirdly, and as an adjunct. And usually I have some Stetson interns.
So I don't know the lady's name on the scooter.
Marcia.
She's all over, man. If there's some shit going on around town, she's there.
Marcia cracks me up.
High school football game.
Marcia cracks me up. You could see her in like an emergent situation, right? Somebody has a gun, and I don't know if you guys remember this one, where he was at the hospital in his car. They had to, he wasn't in the hospital. But he had been driving around with a gun, threatening to shoot himself or others. He was actually an ex-officer, and he had previously done this and shot himself in the stomach previously, but didn't spend much time in it, and now he was doing it again. And he drove around town. He ended up at Advent Health DeLand, and he was like in that parking lot, and it was a long standoff, with the Volusia, sheriff responds because it has the command center that, and the DPD and all of that. And Marcia's right there, standing right in front of all those TV news, like all of their cameras with her hands on her hips, going like, click, click, like, yeah, I love it. She does not care. She's right up in there. There was maybe on Minnesota, there was a drug house that had a bust or whatever. I couldn't go because I had the intern with me at the office, and we were writing the story about this because this was actually some reason there was a lot of crime news that week. It was when the guy from upstate New York was suspected to be down here. And then also there was a stabbing between 2 transient people that was over in the plaza, and the helicopter landed to airlift them out.
Everybody in town thought that was like the same incident.
Yeah. Well, and so did the media.
Yeah.
All the media showed up to it. I lived right by there, so I saw Air One go, and I was like, where are they going? And I literally just followed to where they were and got like the images of them. And then there was the drug bust that night, the next day. And no other media was there because, like, at this point, that guy was caught. So that was the big media story. Except everybody on Minnesota was talking about it. It was like one of the biggest stories for them, right? And it was just Marsha, and it was just Marsha and the police did a press conference just to Marsha, and Marsha's deaf. So she's just doing a video recording for the press conference, which she then brings into the office. I watch, and then I can quote them off of it.
Yeah, I don't want to say this, but I'm going to have to. So I think I probably knew her name was Marsha at one point, but we've always referred to her as Deaf Press.
Yeah, and she wears the
vest.
The vest, yeah, the Deaf Press.
Yeah, so that's what we always called her. But I always high five her whenever we passed each other. We always high five each other.
It wasn't until you just mentioned that this Marsha person that you guys were talking about. You were saying Scooter, and so I was just listening, wondering who this person was. When you pointed out that she was deaf, I was like, yeah, I immediately imagined her, and I was like, oh my God. Mm-hmm. Like, I had never known her name before, but I never heard you guys refer to her as that. That's kind of weird, but no, wow. I didn't know she worked for the Beacon. That's awesome.
She's worked at the Beacon for a very long time.
Wow, yeah.
Like, I think over 15, 20 years, she's been the photographer.
When you see her on that damn scooter, don't get in the fucking way because she's going to find a story.
Oh, man,
she's going to an incident where there's a story to be told or to be had. She's on her way. Don't get in the fucking way.
I was driving home from the store the other day, going down Woodland, and right when I got to the New York Woodland intersection, she had been in front of me, and the car that was in front of her slowed down and tried to turn onto New York. And obviously it had to stop for a minute because it's impossible to turn there. But she started to lay on her horn and waving her finger, and no. I could hear her. She was shouting and waving her finger, and then they took off and turned anyway. And she like kept shaking her finger and shook her head and kept driving straight. But I was. So
those new signs are working really well.
I definitely see them from a distance now with the flashing lights on them.
Yeah, but I don't think nobody pays attention. I saw somebody turn right on that motherfucker the other day. I was like,
nope. I was walking by it just 2 days ago, and someone tried turning, and this other car cut him off and rolled their window down and said, hey, man, you can't turn here. And the guy was like, oh, what do you mean? And the guy was like, you can't do it. And the guy was like, whatever, and took off.
This is some towny shit right now we're talking
about.
Yeah,
right.
But the police came by because they were doing, because we our office is downtown, and they did like a survey, all the businesses, how they felt their presence, and, and I was like, I've never had a problem. You've been responsive when we've had stuff going on. I would suggest that you post up on the corner. Get some easy community goodwill.
Easy collars.
Not even collars. You don't even have to do anything.
Oh, fair enough, yeah.
Just like let people who are walking around see it, because there's something
fair enough
weirdly visceral people feel about the no turns on New York,
It's funny, so that because of our policy here at that intersection, it's made me be more respectful of when I'm in other towns, or because I'm not gonna lie, there's certainly times where I've seen street signs and ignored them, or been like, okay, look, I understand why this is here, but I could treat this right now and it'll be okay.
I think it's a good reason for it. It's like
here definitely makes sense. No, it makes sense.
Two major
from an engineering standpoint,
together, and they just want them to go.
Yeah,
they just want traffic to flow, and then people sitting there waiting on. You could hold up 10 cars trying to turn right because traffic is coming, and you can't turn until it fucking clears up.
This is classic. Anybody who grew up or lives here for a certain amount of time starts getting, it's no turns.
Yeah,
you understand.
We will scream this at people, which is it's a funny thing, because I think one of the things that this podcast is about, and that we touched on, I think, talking about it earlier, is outside the podcast, it's easy to meet people, or it has a good community. It's not exclusionary.
Yeah.
Except there's this whole exclusionary thing where if you turn on New York.
Oh, yeah, we'll judge you for that.
We won't just judge you. We hope you spend the night in jail for some reason. And I'm saying we, and I'm not even like that,
Yeah.
So what's been like your, maybe even as far as recently, what's going on, like, at the Beacon, like what's some of the best stuff you've maybe covered, or like maybe the first thing that you covered while there, where you were like, hey, this is it. You were like, there's something to this place.
think you started that with going, what are the most recent
Yeah.
and what was the first? Or what was
Trying
the
to cover
thing?
all base.
Yeah, right. Well, you
Casting
missed
a
all the
wide
one.
net.
Yeah, missed all the one in the middle. But I don't think that there was ever a moment where I was like, all right, this is it.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, the DeBerry murder, the Gail Clevenger, a 15-year-old strangled his mom and buried her under a fire pit in DeBerry.
Holy shit.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, I covered that, and I was there. This was one of the very first stories I covered, and I was there when at the sentence or the very first appearance, and that's going to be in front of the jail. So it's the first time the family seeing them, and the family, of course, is a family of the victim and the perpetrator. So it's really, and me and one other news anchor were the only two to get into that room, and I had to approach them because it's kind of just what you have to do to at least give them my card, right? Because you have to give people the opportunity to know. You can't just write about their lives without, And when I wrote that story, I wrote a caution note before it, partly because Sheriff Chitwood had done this really like bombastic press conference where he took people to the crime scene. It was like a 15-minute thing where he was describing in great detail about finding like the hand with the ring as they unearthed it, and then he also had said it was a 15-year-old and then he had two friends, and he was saying that helped cover it up or helped bury the body, which later turned out to be false. They didn't help bury the body. The next day they went after school and staged a robbery, but that's a little different than helping your friend bury the body. But the story, I wrote a cautionary note before it that said, like, we do not know it's true. Like, we might know the what, the where, the how. We don't know the why. The only thing that we actually really do know for true is that at least 3 families are destroyed and, like, shattered because of this. And my headline was, Mother Dead Lives Shattered. And I realized, that's just how I thought of it. And the other headlines are, 15-year-old sociopath kills mom, And the thing about crime reporting or any of that is that these are people. These are real people.
Yeah.
Everybody is loved by somebody. People are also not the worst thing that they've done. The sister of the victim is the legal guardian for the son who killed. Things are more complicated, and treating it as clickbait or treating it as, maybe not clickbait, but treating it as something like that dehumanizes people. And when I was able to write that story in a different way, that's when I realized I had some power, or maybe not exactly power, but was able to present a different narrative.
Yeah, a form of power.
Yeah.
How about the kid in, I don't know if he was a kid or not, but the guy from Deltona, the PlayStation.
Xbox murders?
About the Xbox murders, dude?
Yeah.
That was a little bit before. That was like 2008?
No. 2004. But unfortunately, this is a story that I'm covering right now.
God, I thought that was
the Xbox
that
murders?
was later than 2004.
2004. It happened in 2004. Their trial was in 2006. I would have graduated high school.
What do you mean you're covering this now?
So, the say you don't have a subscription to the Beacon without saying. Oh no, I'm just kidding. What happened is the Florida Supreme Court and then the U.S. Supreme Court found that Florida's death penalty law that was non-unanimous was in violation of the Constitution, but it found it in a really kind of narrow way. But what ended up happening is that Florida then had a unanimous death penalty decision, basically from like 2016 on. What it did is it retroactively applied to death row inmates that were, I think it's like from 2002 on, like when the crimes occurred. So death row inmates who were on death row under the non-unanimous law had an opportunity to be resentenced. Not all of them, but some of them. So if they had a non-unanimous decision leading to death, they were going to be resentenced. They were found guilty. They were already, like, there was no, you're not guilty. It is finding of guilt, but you need to be resentenced under the unanimous death penalty law. And Troy Victorino and Jerome Hunter, who were the two perpetrators that were on death row. There were 4, right? Michael Cannon and Brandon Hunter and not Brandon Hunter. Why am I? Well, I'm kind of blanking on his name because I think Michael Salas and anyway, they're serving life. Or Michael Salas at least is serving life. Troy Victorino and Jerome Hunter were both sentenced to death under the unanimous law. Okay, so then they're getting resentenced. For resentencing, they basically have to have a new jury trial. A jury has to make a new recommendation, whether it's death or not. And this was in 2020. And this had been 5 years of going through appeals and all sorts of stuff, including stuff that, like, what can be included and what can't be included. Things from the original trial couldn't be included in the next trial. Like, for instance, the alleged baseball bat inserted into the vaginal cavity of one of the victims, because the Dr. Beaver, the medical examiner at the time, apparently left no record of that. So the new medical examiner, the medical examiner right now in Volusia County, James Fulcher, couldn't testify to that. And they also excluded the dog a little bit. Like, they didn't charge for the dog, George's murder. Okay, so they do a whole new one. It's day 2 of the trial. And the background of all of this is that the Parkland shooter got off on a non-unanimous jury decision. And DeSantis, this was right before it goes to, like, it's this congressional session, legislative session. And they make a new law that makes Florida's death penalty the lowest bar in the country. The only other one is Alabama, and it's 10 to 12. Florida's is 8 to 12 now.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but real quick, can you just, with all these changes with the Florida death penalty going on, like, what? It's the lowest in the country, so it's like the easiest to be
Yes, it's the easiest to be sentenced to death. Okay. The only other state that even does non-unanimous is Alabama, and it's 10 to 12. So 10 jurors recommend death, 2 don't. It still goes to death.
And again, sorry for my ignorance about it, but how does Florida utilize the death penalty in terms of execution?
What do you mean?
Lethal injection these days is pretty standard.
Actually,
I don't know what's standard anymore.
Well, yeah. So because the lethal injection had a bunch of challenges to it because of, and some of them won't even make the medicine. I think in Florida, actually, you can request firing squad, hanging, etc. But we've only, I think, had 1 execution under the new law. But anyway, so I'm in the middle of this trial in 2020. The governor signs a thing. The trial stopped. And the jury can't come back. It's a mistrial. This was May, was another trial, another resentencing. And they had to be resentenced because of this law changing. And then they had to be resentenced again under this 8 to 12. And it's before the Supreme Court right now, the Florida Supreme Court, so the law could be changed again. I could be sitting in the Xbox murders trial in 5 years. Again. How is that justice for the victims? I mean, yeah. So anyway, but weirdly enough.
It's an insane case.
Weirdly enough, but this is what I'm covering. I'm still covering the 2004 Xbox murders.
Is there more important stuff to be covering?
Yeah.
That isn't being covered? Well, so like what?
Other stuff that isn't being covered?
Yeah. Locally, yeah.
Locally, yeah. I mean, there's long form stories that are like, there's things I cannot do alone that I've been trying to enlist more help for. One of them is who owns the land in Spring Hill. So Spring Hill is the African-American side of town. It wasn't even historically the African-American side of town. It has been the side of town where the Black community has been pushed to, partly because of low housing stock. So if you go down Euclid to Beersford going on, this is called the Spring Hill CRA. And in this area was targeted for predatory lending practices before the boom and bust. From parcel to parcel to parcel, who owns it? You can go, if you just take a random block, and you can see LLCs in New Jersey own it, right? Like, because it got bought out, because they got predatory lending practices, foreclosed on, tax tax deed sales, generational generational homes that people are now paying rent on for their generational home that is being owned by somebody in New Jersey and being managed by a local management company and local. I mean, I don't know if you know, Florida landlord law is very low burden. It is literally you have to provide heat and a water connection. It's not even AC. Yeah. So that's a story I wish I could tell, because I just think, just statistically, data-wise, you could see who owns the land, but that's going parcel by parcel by parcel on the property appraiser's
Man,
office.
I like to be involved in that shit.
Yeah, well, it's on my list.
Let's see if I get me a job with Bar. I don't even have to get paid.
Should probably hire. Can you pass a level 2 background check?
That'd be good. Oh, fuck all that. I don't care about all that. But I would like to be a part of that, or I would definitely like to know the outcome of a whole lot of that.
Yeah, and I would say one other thing. I think one thing that people don't realize about the paper is that you have a voice in it. So letters to the editor, suggesting stories, trying to write your own stories, any of those things, is the paper's for you, So if you think there's a story that hasn't been told that needs to be told,
And we would know that, Trevor.
What's going down on our turf down on Georgia Avenue in that area? Any everything good and cozy there? Everything peaceful? Like, I know they're trying to decide what's going on with the old jailhouse, and that's been going on for years now. But any stories not being told down there in our beautiful little downtown area?
Okay, you're talking about, is that even one full block?
No. It's like a quarter mile.
It's not a quarter, even. I think separating something that's only a quarter mile away from the context that it's in, or you know what I mean, could be like an over focus, right? Like, when I think of Georgia Avenue, I don't think of, you're directly across from City Hall. I mean, like you go down the road, you hit City Hall. Like, if you go that way. So like what, there's some, I would say probably dropped the ball on Ray's story about Persimmon's endeavors to have multiple locations.
Oh man,
that went down.
I think we got plenty to say about that.
Well, I mean, it's not that there's conflict of interest, but the other thing is Barb lives upstairs in the thing, because she owns Conrad Realty. She owns a lot of the property on the alley, or she and the board. It's a board. The Conrad Realty Group, so it's multiple people, right? I would say that she has been directly responsible for some of the rejuvenation of the area, of like low rents and things like that. I mean, sure. I mean, what's a story? What's a story and what's petty?
How are they affecting low rents?
I'm just saying that, like, I know that Barb offers, or Conrad Realty offers low cost rent for some of those businesses,
Cool.
And different opportunities, right? Like, it's just it's a choice that landowners in downtown DeLand will have to make. That for a while there's only been like 4 big ones, and for a long time that alleyway, that area was dead, like completely dead.
Oh, sure.
So it was nothing, but when it comes to what's a story and what's just petty talking shit outside the bar, I mean, I don't know if I could tell you anything specific on Georgia Avenue. I would say the taco truck has new ownership.
Yep.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, we know.
That's it.
We were trying to be in line for that.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
we have been
bit of a pipe dream, but
we've been talking to fucking
not to talk it down or nothing, but
a couple of years about that shit, and then he all of a sudden said somebody else was going to get it.
Well, it's. I think this is knowledge now. It's on the record.
I actually heard people talking about it in the bar today.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't make it on the record, but I do believe it is now on the record knowledge, which is that, it's a Taylor Bass from Bake Shop, who has, I think, started a new business every year for the past 4 years.
That about adds up.
Which is she? She's young.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She's a couple years younger than I am, I think.
Hey, man, my hat's off to her.
I mean, she's awesome. I love Taylor. Taylor's great.
Yeah, it's people like this who are kind of...
and hopefully she'll be around in downtown DeLand for years and years to come, man.
I mean, her and her family have been around for a long time, so I don't think they're going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
I think newer people, not newer people, but younger people, one of the things they do is they make the thing they want to see.
Yeah.
Like, if, all right, if they're not going to start it, I have to start this business now.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and it's yeah.
And you get old fuckers like me, man. We'd be like, fuck, I'm too tired. I don't want to start no new shit.
Well, you do sort of sound like you're insinuating there's something on Georgia Avenue I should know about. What do I need? You tell me.
About?
Yeah.
No, I mean, Georgia Avenue is just where we hang out.
Yeah, right.
Georgia Avenue is like our fucking life. Every fucking day. Hey, man.
Well, it's not hard for me because I live across the street, so.
Where you at, man? What time you going down to Georgia
It's
Avenue?
my front porch, essentially.
Yeah. Now?
Yeah, now.
That's just very recent.
Well, that was just further away before.
What if somebody starts a rival podcast called the Indiana Avenue Podcast?
That'd be pretty sweet.
Hey, man, hats off.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It'd be all about meeting some other podcasters around here. I'm surprised it hadn't happened yet, you know? Like, it's such a been happening spot for a handful of years now. You know, it keeps growing, right? And
I guess they haven't seen
traffic's getting worse and worse.
They haven't seen your runaway success yet.
But I mean, who hangs out on Indiana Avenue? Oh, you talk about
people at Half Wall and
issues.
Half Wall. Issues also outside. Oh wait, the Elusive Grape.
That's not Indiana.
Yeah, that's on the corner.
Call it Main Street. Not to get all.
Wow, I do
whatever,
love this like exclusionary thing. In the...
And who cares? It doesn't have to be specific.
No, we actually care.
It's
about
Georgia Avenue or off Georgia Avenue, right?
Yeah, we like the whole downtown because we go all over.
Bar hop every
We
night.
go everywhere.
So Georgia Avenue or off Georgia Avenue? So yeah, because that would be GA or OG.
Yeah.
But
we have a great time all the way up. Actually, the other night, this was really weird. I was driving down. I was in my golf cart going down the boulevard. And some people were screaming, Victor. So I turn around and go back to the crest. And they all like, I want to take pictures. I want to take a picture. Give me a ride on your golf cart. Anyway, the lady that owns the crest, man, beautiful lady.
Yeah, she's great.
Gave me and Trevor an invitation to dinner.
Awesome.
And she's going to be on the podcast.
Oh, she's great. I like her a lot.
Teaser.
Yeah. No, I liked. I mean, I've eaten over there.
Susan. I think her name was Susan Brent. Pretty sure that's what the business card said. Anyway, yeah, she seems real nice. Yeah. Crest is a really interesting spot, and I mean, since we're on the subject, it's
very nice lady.
I don't know, like it's a really interesting spot, and I don't understand what's going on there sometimes.
Thought I heard somebody say tonight that was sitting here previously that they were probably the best, if not next to the best restaurant in DeLand.
Yeah, always have been. I mean, it's a long time, but
they certainly have the most reach and best access to ingredients and willingness to use those ingredients, I think. I
like the snails. Escargot.
Really?
Yeah, you had it? Oh, it was good.
The first time I had it was at, it wasn't called Crest yet, but it was the very same location. This was back when Half Wall was still Dublin Station, way back when. But it was more Vietnamese inspired before it was Crest. But that was the first time I had escargot, and it was amazing.
Really good.
Really?
Yeah. Snails are delicious. We should go pick some out of Tom's garden off his fig tree right now.
Well, I mean,
Put them up in some butter.
I had a friend come I knew from middle school, right? Maybe then we realized we knew each other for 29 years, and which is
a long time.
Yeah, right. There's full ass adults, who are how long we've known each other. But one of those people who doesn't matter if you see them or not see them, you kind of pick up. Yeah. And then we just walked around town, right? And it was really nice.
Recently?
Yeah, it was the other day.
And they're from out of town?
Yeah, they live in Orlando now. I mean, and they always were Orange City, so they lived in Orange City.
No way, from Orange City to Orlando.
DeLand is an awesome place. DeLand is, I guess, I don't know anything about the group of people that manage the Main Street, whatever. But those people put shit together all the time, almost every fucking weekend. There's something going on in DeLand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's different than Main Street.
Is it?
Yeah, so Main Street Association is on a tax. Okay, so it was DeLand, right? It was considered a blighted area. So 1984, they made a new tax designated area called a CRA, a community redevelopment area, and they set the tax base there, and then anything over that they can use to apply to improvements for the area. So that's where Main Street Association comes from. It's very specific tax nonprofit. It's the nonprofit that utilizes the tax money for improvements and events. So that's Main Street Association. There's other events that go on with Main Street or not with Main Street. The Pride, thing is obviously not Main Street. Main Street's big ones are like, and the Dog Parade is the Crew of Amelie, right? Theirs are like the Ice Cream Walk, Monsters on Main.
That's Main Street stuff?
Yeah, so, but it's a specific nonprofit that is based on a tax, a tax, I don't want to say scheme, but a tax setup.
Scheme.
Well, I mean, there's different Main Streets and how they do it and all of it. If you, it's in the offices, and they do the Fall Festival for the Arts. That's another big one.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
It's where the museum is, the Museum of Art DeLand. If you go straight down, that is the Main Street offices.
Yeah.
So, but I just wanted to be clear about that.
Who organizes all of these events that are happening every...
Yeah, different people. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's different people organize the event. You just have to pull a permit with the city, and you have to get okayed, right? Main Street organizes specific events. They also do facade improvements, and they do all of the, like, flowers and planting and things like that. And so, yeah, there's not one specific one, I would say. But they, because it's a microcosm, or it's a bowl of water. Everybody interacts with each other. That's for sure.
It's awesome.
Bike Week is Main Street.
There's a lot of shit, man. I mean,
you could have an event.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you could pull a permit on Indiana.
Golf cart,
There we go. The Georgia Avenue podcast, the event.
Yeah, who does the Saturday car show? I don't know. Some car show group.
Oh, over by the courthouse.
Yeah.
Indiana.
Yeah.
Indiana podcast.
TM.
Yeah.
That works, right, legally?
All right.
What does that do? What does that car show do? I mean, what do they just sit out there and...
People get together and hang out and just show off their cars. It's been going on for years now. It used to be a little bigger. It got a little smaller, I think.
It used to be like McDonald's or something.
Yeah. There used to be one at McDonald's as well in that parking lot.
Every Friday.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's the same people, but because I see these car shows and I can be in a random downtown Sanford or other places on a random day, and I've seen similar car show setups.
Maybe I should get a golf cart show.
Honestly, I think that's funny.
I've been seeing a lot more golf carts around.
Yeah. I think it's a funny idea.
Well, you're seeing a lot more golf carts around now.
Are you asking me this?
No, I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Sandy just got one.
You're about to see more chickens because they just passed the chicken ordinance.
Yeah, I heard.
For city limits?
Yep.
In the city, yeah.
Still can't have a rooster though, right?
No rooster.
Okay.
You don't want a rooster anyway.
No.
I'm a rooster.
Got enough of those.
I have called you a cock before.
I'm a rooster. I'm a rooster. I don't want to be the rooster.
So how long do we talk? Or
However long you're comfortable for. I mean,
What other questions you got here?
I mean, I ain't got much left in terms of flow here. We kind of just went out there and got into a lot of stuff I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
And you did tell us something that wasn't being talked about that you thought a story that should be told. What else is out there that's? I mean, there's got to be more stuff, right? Without.
Oh yeah.
Not that maybe you don't want to talk about it, but.
No, there's plenty. Yeah.
I guess I don't know how to frame it yet because I wasn't prepared for that.
What are you talking about? Stuck.
I mean, it's not like it's being hidden. It's just how to tell it and getting it done is a little different, There's different kinds of stories. Investigative stories, longer stories. Then there's stories where it's like more emergent. There's a fire at a thing. There's human interest stories. There's, anywhere there's stories about everything. Should it be told or how it's told?
When it comes to crafting these stories, is there just certain stuff that you're supposed to leave out information wise, or like in terms of not manners, but tact or class, right? You were saying earlier about
Yeah.
protecting people's character and things like that.
I don't know if I said protecting people's
You're
character.
right, not protecting their character. I'm sorry, but they're human beings, and they need
Oh,
to be
yeah, to not
treated that way.
dehumanize them.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, okay, yeah. I mean, somebody can slip up and say something real stupid, What's the point of quoting them on that?
Mhm.
The point of the quoting them on that would be to be pointing out they're saying something stupid.
Yeah.
That's not a story, and that doesn't
Right, and
benefit
maybe
the community.
and it's something that needs to be clipped.
Yeah, it's okay. Yes, that would be good as a gotcha or something, but it really just was stupid, or it would be manipulative to do anything other than that.
All right. So,
Do you think the Beacon does enough in terms of coverage and getting it out there? Is there more? Again, not to put you on the spot, I guess, because you work there.
No, I think
that
no, I don't think we do enough. I think that there's a lot more there. I mean, just covering.
I don't see a strong online presence.
Well, we have a really strong Facebook presence, right? We have a lot of stuff going on Facebook. The people that we've tried to have on the videos and the, kind of pushing that out have come and gone. Like, that's not something that we're great at, but it's hard when, honestly, literally one of the most important things we do is go to the government meeting so you don't have to.
Right.
Like, so many things happen in government meetings, and we're 13 different cities. We're talking about the county council, and that's just the cities. There's the county council, there's the school board, there's Lake Helden, DeLand.
you guys do all that?
Yeah.
It's hard to find reliable
We do the
places
West
that still
Volusia
do that.
Hospital Authority. I mean, we sit in these, we listen to them because things happen in them. Deltona is a big one. Like, DeBerry. We go to the planning board meetings so that we can write about the developments before they come up so people can know about them. So
you telling me that you go to all these meetings and then you come back and you write on those?
yeah.
It's the life of a journalist.
I'm getting a fucking situation.
And maybe not all of it ever gets put out there, right? But
I mean, no, generally, yeah, we rate what happens in the meeting, but here's a very good example of, even for one story, it's like 90% of what you have to learn and know doesn't even go into the story. It's context. You need to know it, but it's not necessarily like important for the reader to know. But, okay, this law did this or whatever, that can bog it down and get away from our mission, which is giving people information, the information they need to know. But yeah, no, we go to all those meetings.
And then how often does that paper come out?
Well, we're once a week. Yeah, and we've been trying to expand our online. We've been back and forth with having like website stuff, but yeah, we have a really good government reporter in Al who covers DeBerry, Deltona, and the Volusia County Council, and I have somebody else on Orange City. I've been pinch hitting DeLand, which is not my favorite. Lake Helen, we have really good coverage of. Pearson, not as much, because we lost a Pearson person. But that is one emergent story, although it's not quite. I mean, the police situation, because that's actually more a big deal in Lake Helen. If you heard about Pearson not taking the enhanced, contract with the Volusia County Sheriff's Office, a bigger deal is really a place like Lake Helen, which has its own police station, where they're debating getting rid of their police station and just taking a contract with the Volusia County Sheriff's Office.
really,
I'm not sure how much of a real debate this is, but it is being pushed by more than one commissioner.
and that's the Lake Helen people. So I have a lot of family in Lake Helen, and I have had for decades, and I've just always known Lake Helen to be so tightly run and tight knit, and it's hard for anybody to get in there, or they're all very
Yeah, you should read my.
about the way they do things.
You should honestly read some of my past coverage of it. I mean,
Oh no, sure, yeah, this is interesting. I haven't heard
one
this.
problem in Lake Helen is they have election every year.
Yeah,
They have staggered terms and they have 2-year terms. They have an election every single year, and every single year, especially with social media, it has gotten more ridiculous and more acrimonious, like really fighting about like pancake breakfasts.
it's such a fascinating place, Lake Helen.
Yeah, it's
and the culture and the community.
Yeah.
Such a weird little place.
I mean, I'd rather go to that than DeLand City Commission meeting, where it's literally I'm the only one sitting there. This is DeLand. It's 500. It's 50,000 people. Developments that are coming and getting passed. And once the proclamations are done and the recognitions, it clears out. It is me and city staff and the city commission. The end.
Has it gotten harder with all the growth we've had in DeLand, or is that something you can talk about, or like because it's obviously gotten bigger and bigger the past few years? And
Well, I mean, growth is a really irritating story to write because there's so much baked into it that it allows for growth. You can't just go, you can't do this. If they legally present, if they buy the land and they want to grow into it and they do it within the law, they can do it. How can the city commission stop them? So that's what's most infuriating. A bigger story going on right now is really the state overreach onto local municipalities. It started with the Live Local Act, where an industrial area could be rezoned for housing as long as like 30% of it was affordable housing. That means in Pearson, for instance, an area zoned for industrial, somebody could buy it and then build apartment buildings, right? That's actually the Auto Mall. So across from I-4 around Lake Helen on Orange Camp, there's that big pasture. That whole area is up to be affordable housing, or not affordable housing, but a development and apartment.
What the hell is that? I got on I-4 today off of 44.
Uh-huh.
Heading west.
Yeah.
I-4. And then to the very right, as soon as I get on I-4 to the right, it seems like a huge parking lot.
Right when you get onto I-4 to the right from 44?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so you would be right past MLK Kepler. You'd be looking down on that.
No. I-4.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm coming from DeLand.
So way past. Yeah.
I'm coming from DeLand on 44, heading toward New Smyrna, but I jumped on I-4 to head west.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I got on I-4, there was something on. It looked like a huge fucking parking lot. I didn't see it good because it caught me off guard, but I noticed there was something different there.
I'm going to have to take a look because that land outside of there would be unannexed.
It would be behind, it would be kind of like behind the Daytona Community College.
Yeah.
Back in the.
Yeah. I would actually have to look to see if Lake Helen has annexed that area. I don't think they have. So it would have been unincorporated. Okay, yeah. Well, something's going to happen along that entire strip. So Kepler, MLK, that is all going to be developed in the next 10 years. Yeah. And it's going to be businesses and apartments. It's all going to be Integra Dunes. All of it is planned for that. Like literally there are plans for that. Which means all of that greenery, as an environmental science major, I find development stories really infuriating because what it does is it imagines every single plot of land is wasted space unless it is developed into something. Wow. And that is just not how the environment works.
Wow.
Hey, Vic, you got any shout outs for us this week?
I don't got no shout out this week.
No?
I'm just going to shout out that fucking pizza. I'm going to shout out the salty ass.
It was pretty salty, I'll say that. I was hoping to come on tonight and give our caterer a bit of as much as an uplift as we can give him, but it was a little salty.
We don't have to call no damn name.
No, it's all right. It's all right. We figure it out. Eli, it was great having you on. Is there anything you want to leave us with or anything we didn't get to?
Yeah, sure. There's about 10 million things you didn't get to.
We can go on for another hour if you want.
Absolutely not. Thank you. Thank you. No, thank you. What would I shout out if I was going to shout out something? I would shout out just a little bit. Don't forget your local news is for you.
I'm gonna subscribe.
Cool.
Yeah, I think I want to too because I feel pretty ignorant and I think I could be known some more.
I don't know why I thought the paper wasn't that important, but now that you're here, man, I mean,
no, of course
there's so much shit that's going on that I have no idea what's going on.
Part of me just assumed maybe it had become the news journal as well, just thought. But
you guys take time out of your life to go out and find out all this shit, and then put it in the fucking paper, and then I see the paper somewhere, and I walk right past it.
Yeah, some of these are really important stories. Yeah. There's stories, the stories that don't get. So here's one. This isn't like necessarily a story. Somebody's fence. It was a fencing permit thing, and it was like they're not doing anything. And I was like, I'm gonna look into this. I'm gonna email the city, and I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna bet you 50 cents they call you by Friday. And I was like, this could be a story or it could not. I'm not sure how it helps the community because I know that they're gonna. Sometimes they just need to know that we're looking. As a member of the media, sometimes all I have to do is email somebody and a problem gets solved because they know somebody is looking. And it's not necessarily a story, but it's like, okay, wait.
That's all it takes, yeah.
That's all it takes. So it's that eyes and knowing somebody is looking. And the thing about the Beacon is it is a continuation of the DeLand Sun News, which was from 1924, and it was a daily from 1924 until 1993, 94, when it was bought by the News Journal. And then 3 DeLand Sun News workers started the Beacon. Barb, Eileen, and Joan all started this. And so, but the thing about it is, one thing I realized about it is, this town is a different town because it's had a local newspaper, because it's had somebody paying attention.
Wow, that's awesome. I do actually have one more question for you that came to mind, because I know the Beacon has a committee, I believe, last I read a handful of months ago, Beersford Reserve.
Oh,
the old golf course? What's going on with that? Anything new? Anything?
Yeah, no, there's plenty new of that.
Is it just a dead end?
No. There's plenty of new of that. It's D.R. Horton is the developer right now. One thing is going on is the Beersford, it's the Brownfield Committee. It's a Brownfield Committee, so because it was an old city dump, it has toxic materials on it. It had a big outcry when it first came to the city. By law, has to do a Brownfield Committee. The committee has lost almost all their members. It's a 5-person committee. There's only 2 people left on it. It's not a quorum. And the committee members who were there are disappointed with what the committee's function is. Let me put it that way.
So it's like bureaucratic stuff.
I think they feel that it's closer to rubber stamping a development than actually giving any information out. Part of the role is to give information to the community about the development. The Brownfield Committee, and there also is a thing going on with the historic trees there. Actually, it's funny you asked that. This is a story I'm currently working on that I have to be a little careful to make sure.
That's fine. I look forward to looking at it.
I actually saw some people out there tying off some trees the other day.
Yeah, there were arborists checking with they were checking to see the historic trees.
So is the land dangerous too? I've heard it's dangerous land potentially as well. But it used to be a golf course. I used to play golf there for years.
Yeah, it was the old city dump.
It was a dump.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
This was back in like the 50s.
Well, what's dangerous? I mean, under Mitchell's Cleaning, under the old Mitchell's Cleaning, is a toxic plume.
Right.
There's under any of the former like dry cleaning places that have been in are toxic plumes. One of the more dangerous things is, can it hit the water supply system or aquifer, which they don't think, but they have multiple monitoring. I mean, they took away 40 tons of material away from the Mitchell's cleaning spot, and they're still, registering that there is a plume underneath.
Wow.
One of the bigger problems, I think, with the golf course and the brownfield is that any development is going to churn up things.
Well, if they did develop, like what? So what I heard at first was it was just going to be a park. And maybe they were going to add some disc golf baskets.
No.
There's going to be a lot of houses.
Houses.
Yeah, see, screw that. I don't want that.
It's D.R. Horton, it's houses.
Yeah, well, you ain't got no say-so.
Yeah. And
maybe not yet.
No.
We'll see. I mean, the irritating thing about development is there are ways in which hands are tied. It's people own property. They're allowed to do what they want to it. However, this is a site that is, but I know there's a committee right now that is trying to...
Them fuckers got so much
honestly
money.
If you want to join it, because I don't think that they have all their members. They don't have all the members, and be a voice on the brownfield. I tried to go to the brownfield meeting maybe 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, sign on City Hall. Brownfield meeting canceled. One of the members had quit an hour and a half before the meeting, so now there's no quorum whatsoever. So
I might have to look into that.
Yeah, and that's honestly something I'm working on right now. Hopefully for next week. So.
Okay, that's awesome. Vic, you good, man?
That was it. That was a good last question.
Jack, you all right? Yeah, Jack's falling asleep with the soundboard over there. I guess I'll have to walk over and hit the stop button for him.
Yeah, he ain't gonna be
Eli, it was great having you. Thank you very much. And I guess that's all you have to close on. You plugged your stuff. You got nothing else. That's and we already kept you for that extra question.
All right, I'm out of here.
All right. Thank you.
Peace.